Our goal at Seadrill is simple. Nobody gets hurt. During your time on board, you are empowered and have the obligation and duty to stop any unsafe act or operation. We want to set the standard in drilling, and we'll do this by following our Seadrill values: safety conscious, accountable, inspirational, loyal, and proactive. On our installations, we have policies, directives, and rules that must be followed to help you stay safe. Our rules can't cover every possible circumstance you might encounter on board. So if you have a question, please stop a job and ask for clarification. Welcome aboard this Seadrill installation. We work in a high-risk industry in remote locations, conducting live well operations. Please pay attention to the following briefing, as it contains information vital to your safety and well-being while on board. All safety regulations on this installation are monitored and enforced by the OIM. It is a requirement that you comply with Seadrill's prescribed safety standards and emergency procedures. On arrival and departure, you must sign the logbook. This establishes that you are physically on board and ensures that you will be accounted for in the event of an emergency. By signing, you also acknowledge that you are bound by maritime security protocols. At the conclusion of this briefing, you'll be given your cabin number and advised of the installation's ER or emergency response number. You will also have the T-card system explained and be given an introductory tour of the installation. Station bills are posted throughout the accommodations. It is a requirement that you familiarise yourself with them. You should be familiar with all the life preserver equipment on board. There is a combination of lifeboats and life rafts. In addition, there are life vests in your sleeping quarters and in the orange containers adjacent to the lifeboats. There are also life rings at regular intervals on each deck level. You should know all the exits in the accommodation and familiarise yourself with the emergency equipment in and around your cabin, such as life jackets or the fire extinguishers, noting what type they are and how to operate them, as well as how to raise the alarm should you discover a fire. This installation is equipped with several audible alarms. You must be able to recognise each of the alarm signals and respond accordingly. Intermittent sounding of the alarm indicates a general alarm, which will be followed by a public announcement advising of the emergency situation. Upon hearing this alarm, all general personnel must proceed immediately to their designated muster area, take their T-cards and don a life jacket. All essential personnel should report to their emergency stations. If you are outside the accommodation, you are not permitted to re-enter until you receive the all clear. A continuous sounding of the alarm indicates abandoned ship. All personnel must prepare to board a lifeboat. Only the OIM has the authority to allow boarding and launch the lifeboats. In addition to these alarms, the installation has a gas detection alarm. In the event that the installation's gas alarm is sounded, you should await further direction on the required response. 3 short sounds of the alarm designates all clear. Personnel may resume normal duties after returning their life jacket and T-card to the correct locations. If you discover a fire, raise the alarm at the nearest alarm point. If there is no immediate risk to your own safety, you may attempt to extinguish the fire until the fire team arrives. The minimum required personal protective equipment, or PPE, for work outside the accommodation is a hard hat with chin strap, lace-up safety-toed boots, safety glasses, hearing protection, gloves and coveralls. Many other operations require additional PPE, welding or grinding, or in high noise areas, working at heights in excess of 2 meters, when entering confined spaces, as well as working close to or over water. If you're not sure what is required, ask your supervisor. You will notice personnel wearing various coloured hard hats. White hats are issued only to permanent experienced crew members. Green hats are used to identify visitors or personnel new to a particular task or operation who are likely to be unfamiliar with the safety policies and practices of this installation. Walking around this installation, make a note of the other safety equipment on board, such as eye washing stations, emergency showers, fire extinguishers and such like. Third-party contractors must comply with all Seadrill policies and directives. All cranes, forklifts and winches may only be operated by qualified Seadrill personnel. All third-party electrical equipment must be cleared by the technical section leader, the TSL, before connection. All chemicals brought on board must be accompanied by the relevant Material Safety Data Sheets, or MSDS, with a copy made available to the hospital. It is important that we are all competent to conduct our duties, that we follow the correct procedures for the equipment on board the installation, and that all equipment is well maintained and fit for purpose. Seadrill performs daily worksite verification audits. Make sure that you are able to answer questions regarding competency, procedures and maintenance as it applies to your duties. Following this safety briefing, you will be introduced to your supervisor, who will provide you with your task-orientated training. There are many safety rules and procedures that must be adhered to. The rules are in the Total Management System, or TMS, which include HSE directives and step-by-step procedures. You must understand these rules before entering the work area. Task-based risk assessment, or TBRA, and pre-job safety meetings are required prior to any significant task. Please participate in these important meetings. Seadrill use a 5-point check risk assessment tool along with Tempo, a safety awareness program designed to establish a pace and progress for work that ensures it is conducted within everyone's capabilities. You should never offer advice or assistance on any operation if you are not involved in the risk assessment or pre-job safety meeting for that particular task. Take the time to familiarise yourself with our rules. If you are not sure, ask. Seadrill operate and encourage time out for safety to stop any unsafe work, which allows anyone to stop a job if they see a problem. For tasks that require a permit, you must obtain that permit before you start. If you are unsure whether a permit is required for the task you wish to perform, ask your supervisor. Remember, no permit, no work. Always ask when you are not sure. Some tasks require energy isolation, so that equipment can be worked on safely. Isolations must be in place before the task can start. Only competent personnel can carry out energy isolations. Cranes operate continuously night and day. When on deck, always look up. Never walk under suspended loads and never turn your back on a load that could swing your way. You should always have an escape route planned. Our no hands-on load rule is tightly monitored and strictly enforced. Push poles and taglines are to be used at all times when working with loads. Prior to any lifting operation, you must ensure that all lifting equipment, including slings, shackles, rings, hooks, etc., is marked with the current lifting colour code. When moving around the facility, always keep to the designated walkways, never cross any barriers, and be aware of the posted warning signs. When ascending or descending stairways, you must keep one hand on the rail at all times. When descending, use the trailing hand technique. This installation may be fitted with mechanically operated watertight doors, designed to close under enormous pressure. Make yourself aware of the alarms and signals associated with the operation of these doors. Seadrill is very conscious of our environmental obligations, and we are continuously working towards a pollution-free workplace. All personnel should ensure that all waste is disposed of in accordance with Seadrill's environmental control policies and directives. Please report any signs of environmental risk or damage immediately. If you are unsure of how to handle or dispose of any waste on board, ask. All personnel actively participate in our hazard identification and reporting program. All potential hazards, accidents and near-miss incidents affecting the health and safety of others must be reported immediately. Seadrill's reporting cards, known as OBS cards, cover both positive action and hazard identification. OBS cards are available throughout the installation. The information collected is used to make the installation a safer place for all personnel. You are to report all injuries or illnesses to your supervisor and the medic immediately. You must also advise the medic of any pre-existing conditions you have or medications you may be taking. Seadrill's smoking policy is strictly enforced. Smokers can only smoke in the specifically designated areas. Smoking, including e-cigarettes, is forbidden on the drill floor, inside the accommodations and most areas on board. Cigarette lighters are not permitted on board. If you're in possession of one of these, you are required to surrender it now. Here are some important safety reminders. Horseplay in any form is strictly forbidden on the installation. You must remove all jewellery before entering the workplace. The most common injuries result from rings, necklaces and watches becoming caught in rotating machinery. No knives in the workplace. Mobile phones are not permitted in the work areas and might be collected prior to some operations. In the event that you discover a man overboard, It is vital that you maintain visual contact with the victim while calling for help. Deploy a life ring if one is readily available, but do not enter the water yourself under any circumstances. The rescue boat will be deployed and will be relying on your visual contact with the victim to effect a quick rescue. Never touch a person receiving an electric shock. If possible, turn off the current or remove the victim from the power source without touching them and call for help. Only administer CPR if you have been trained and it is safe to do so. No personnel are permitted to enter a red zone without permission from the area supervisor. Only enter the rig floor with the permission of the driller. On the BOP deck, safety harnesses and lanyards are to be worn while working at height. On the pipe deck, be aware of overhead loads and have escape routes planned. In the sack room, always use the proper PPE and know the MSDS specifications before mixing. All hot work requires a permit and can only be performed by authorised personnel. Never enter a pit without a vessel entry permit and the electrical isolation of agitators. Keep tools and other equipment well maintained and in good working order. If a tool is broken or damaged, report it to your supervisor and remove it from use. Workspaces should be kept clean and tidy. Stay organised, efficient and safe. When you finish a task, be sure that the equipment and tools used are returned in good condition. Seadrill treats dropped objects very seriously. Dropped objects are one of the biggest causes of personal injury in our industry. Dropped objects and their prevention applies to every one of us. So make sure that you're aware of and follow Seadrill's rules associated with dropped object prevention. Always use a lanyard when using tools aloft. No workboats or dirty coveralls are permitted inside the accommodations. You should keep your room neat and tidy. The recreation rooms are for everyone's enjoyment. Please keep them tidy. This is a 24-hour operation, so keep noise in the accommodations to a minimum, as there are always people trying to sleep. There are 4 meal times per day. Galley hours are posted at the dining room doors. All personnel must wash their hands before entering the galley, and only authorised personnel are permitted to enter the food preparation area. Laundry services will be explained to you during your induction tour of the installation. It is not advisable to bring cash or valuables on board, but if you have, you should speak with the safety briefing officer regarding their safekeeping. Weapons, alcohol, narcotics, illegal drugs and associated paraphernalia, as well as gambling, are prohibited on all Seadrill installations. Before departing the installation, you must watch the helicopter safety briefing film. All personnel are to remain in the departure lounge until directed to board the helicopter. You are required to remove all headwear and secure baggage before entering the helideck area. Seadrill believes that your commitment to our occupational health, safety and environmental rules is as important as the performance of your assigned duties. No job is so important that we cannot take the time to do it safely. Thank you for your attention, and remember, safety is everyone's responsibility.